What's up, YouTube family? Gerald Greenlee here with Glenny Green Lawn Service in beautiful South Georgia. Hope y'all are having a great day. I am riding to look at a property. This is not a new property per se. This is one that we cut. You know, we might do for them once or twice a year, but I don't know what the condition of it is, like how many sticks is down. They want the pond trim. You know, I just need to go look at all of that. But really, what I want to share today, so I want to talk about cost, not cost, price. So everybody, I would think at this point, has raised their prices. The question becomes this: do I raise my prices more? There are some folks that I know are testing the waters, and they're just saying, hey man, we're gonna shoot the prices through the roof and we're just gonna see what happens. And the reason for that is supply and demand. It's just like fuel. If I don't know if there's a shortage of fuel, but there is a created shortage of fuel and the price goes up. So there are people who, whether it's lawn care, construction, handyman, any of those things, I know some people right now that are kind of testing the waters and just saying, hey, you know, I've been charging $100 an hour. Let's just say, I'm just using a figure here, I'm going up to $150. Why are they doing that? Because there's a supply and demand issue. Elro was talking to another lawn care provider the other day, a gentleman that he knows better than I do, but I know this gentleman. He's got a great reputation around town, does good work, and he said that he's working 7 days a week when he can. He is working from basically daylight to dark, 7 days a week, and he's still turning work away. That's how much work there is out there, and there's just not enough people, I guess, wanting to work. You know, and so what some people are doing is saying, hey, you know, if that's the case, then I'm just gonna raise my prices. Will I not get some customers? Man, probably so, but I can make the same amount of money working 8 hours that I was making working 12 hours. Who cares if I lose 20% of the customers, 25% of the customers? And my question is this: is that the business model that you want to follow? I don't know that there's a right and wrong answer to that. You know, it's going to be whatever works for you. But I want to offer a word of caution. Let's go back to the fuel shortage, or the created shortage as I call it. All the stations in town are at $4 a gallon, right? And eventually, fuel goes back down. Now, what happens if one station says, I've been making $4 a gallon for fuel, that's what I've been selling it for, I'm going to keep selling it for that and make profit? Which is the same thing a person in lawn care, construction, handyman work, any kind of service industry, who says, I up my prices, I'm making good money at $100 an hour, but I'm just going to shoot it up to $150 because I can, because of supply and demand. If all the stations in town go back down to $2 a gallon, and that one that's at 4, who is the person who said, I'm going to $150 an hour, says, I'm going to leave it at $4 a gallon, not very many people are going to get gas at that station, if anybody, right? So I think you got to be careful just pricing it unreasonable, because eventually, I don't think this shortage, I don't think this this market with housing and everything just being in excess, I don't think that's sustainable. And so I think those things are going to go back down, and when they go back down, prices for services are going to start to go back down. assuming we get some people back in the workforce. Now, that's certainly a question of if that'll happen. But if it does happen, and people get back in the workforce and they start working, it's going to drive the prices down. Now you'll be in a situation where you went to an extreme of really having to cut your prices to remain competitive. And so that becomes a question, do you want to do that? Charging an excessive amount of money just because you can, whether it's for 6 months, for a year, 18 months, 2 years, could come back to bite you. There's a restaurant here in town, and I think this is price gouging. I'm not even sure how they got away with that. We had a storm come through, and it was a place a lot of people used to go eat on Sunday. And one particular Sunday, people went there to eat, and the meals cost, the buffet cost double what it had been costing, almost double. And a lot of restaurants were closed down. A lot of them were without power and stuff like that, you know. And I realized these people probably incurred some costs to be open and this, that, and the other, but I can tell you what it did. I know people to this day, and this was like 5 years ago, I know people to this day that would never step foot back in that restaurant. Now, these are good people that go out to eat all the time. They don't mind spending money. I mean, if you go out to eat, you're gonna spend money, you know. And but they will never go back to that restaurant, and they won't go back there because of what the people did in that situation. So anyway, here's the property right here. I need to get out here and look at this pond, see what this situation looks like. I haven't sent them a message yet, but I'm just gonna drive across their yard, I reckon. It's the only thing I know to do. And if they see me out here, I'll give y'all a little shot of it. Let you see. Oh yeah, man. That pond's nasty, dude. Nasty. Not nasty, but I mean, it's... Look at that pile of limbs. I don't know if y'all can see that big pile they got over there. But see, there's always a bunch of limbs. You got to pick up all the limbs. You know, cutting ain't no problem, but picking up all these limbs and stuff. We'll get back to the dollar signs in a minute. I don't know why I put that dirty hat on, but anyway, that's what I got. Yeah. So what we do when we come cut for them, and we only cut this about once a year, when we come in and we trim up this pond good, all the way around. You know, we don't worry about the trees and stuff, but we trim down everything we can. So, and I definitely, yeah, this is 5 acres. So, you know, and it really, the grass don't even grow. They only cut this property, they cut it like 4 times a year. In fact, and this hasn't been cut in months, man. Probably hadn't been cut all summer. They probably cut it at the beginning of the summer. And I told them they were gonna buy a new lawnmower, and I said, you know, to be honest with you, hold on, let me put my seatbelt on. Can't have Josh get me on my seatbelt situation. But I told him, I said, man, if y'all ain't gonna cut but 4 times a year, it'd be cheaper for you to pay me, you know, to do the property than it would be for you to go out and buy a new zero turn, you know. Even at, say, come in for $300 4 times a year, and I'd do it 4 times a year because it just doesn't grow. They got so many trees that nothing grows, you know. And then them leaves, those leaves stay on the ground from those oaks, and it just smothers everything, man. The limbs don't look bad though. I was expecting a lot more limbs. You know, the drain field up there, and I trimmed their hedges for them too, or I have, I don't know. They look like they've been trimmed though. But, and of course we trim up around all these trees and stuff, tidy that up. Yeah, I don't know if those hedges have been trimmed since last year or not. But anyway, we trim up in a good around these culverts and all of that, edge the driveway. Yeah, I've seen about all I need to see though. What I'll probably do on this is, you know, because again, it's not bad. what I do on this is I'll charge a price for trimming that pond, and then I take the pond out of the acreage, and then for the acreage, you know, I probably charge what my standard rate for the acreage is. Throw in a little bit of cleanup, you know, for the sticks, and they're not bad at all. They said they had been picking up the sticks. I said, well, let me come look at it before I give y'all a price. And I do it one or two ways. I charge the pond separate, or I include the pond. A lot of times I'll include the pond in the acreage and then just do my per acre price. But that's got a little bit more trimming than you would normally have on a pond. If it's a property we maintain, I don't even account for the pond. If a pond, you know, is say like an acre, I'm charging for that acre, but what I'm charging for that acre is really just to trim around the pond. So, but again, if it's something we maintain every 2 weeks, you know, you can run around that with a trimmer in no time. But anyway, I'll get her up a price. So yeah, back to what I was talking about on this pricing deal. I think people had to be careful, because I think if you, here's what's happening. I bidded a couple of properties over the last couple of weeks, and you know, the people are needing it done, but then it takes them 3 or 4 days to get back with me. And in those 3 or 4 days, what they're doing is they're contacting other people and getting prices. This is what I suspect. I told them to. I said, hey, you know, look around, get you some other quotes if you want to. You know, it doesn't matter to me, because again, I say this all the time. My price is my price. I don't care if I'm quoting in the winter time, the summertime, the fall, the spring. Doesn't matter. My price is my price. You know. So they're probably looking around and either A, getting prices that are like I'm talking about, that are really, really high, or B, they just simply can't find anybody else to do it. And so, yeah, I'm in a situation to where I could probably charge, you know, I could probably go up quite a bit and still have plenty of work to do. But how bad of a taste would that put in somebody's mouth to know that you kind of got them over a barrel, so to speak, and you're going to charge them this price, you know? And I'm talking about extreme prices. The standard in my area is $50 to $60 an acre. That's kind of the standard. Now, I know I see guys all the time in the lawn care community doing 1 acre properties charging $100, $120. And in those markets, you know, usually these are pretty nice properties, and, you know, well-maintained properties, good turf, all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of the, you know, they may be a little bit high because somebody else might be charging $90 an acre. But here, you know, if you start charging $100, $110 an acre, I mean, yeah, you're going to get some work, and there's going to be some people have you to do it because they can't find anybody else. But as other people become available, as new people get into the business, they'll drop you, man. And they'll use you. Here's what I say about fair pricing. A person will use you because they want to. Whereas in a market with high demand and low supply, they will use you because they have to. And if you have a have to relationship with a customer, that relationship is probably going to be toxic. You know, I just quoted a property the other day that the provider before me, they were charging $70 a cut, and I didn't know that. But when I quoted the property, I went a little on the high side, but not extreme. I told them it'd be $85. And so the customer said, okay, that's fine. She told me, she said, that's $15 more per service than I'm paying, but I'm not happy with the service that I'm getting. There you go. See, that $15 is not, it's not ripping that person off. It's giving that person what they want. It's giving the quality of work they want. It's giving the dependability that they want. And so they're willing to pay for that. Now, had I quoted that same property at you know, $30 over, so they were paying 70. Let's say I quoted that property at $100. She was fed up with the company that she had, and she was going to change companies, and she might have still let us service the property. But there's a chance that even if she had us go ahead and do it, that at some point, maybe going into next season, she would begin to do some shopping around when she had some time, right? And this is a very good customer, and I know this because when she first asked me to come look at it, I had COVID. I got COVID right after the day I was supposed to go look at it. I tested positive for COVID, so I sent her a message, explained to her, and she said, that's totally fine, I understand, we only get it cut every 2 weeks, just come see me, you know, when you get a negative test. So I went over there the day before it needed to be cut to put my eyes on the property and to lock in the quote. And I said, well, I'll get the guys by here tomorrow. And she said, well, let's not do that. She said, I haven't told the other company yet, and they're supposed to come tomorrow. I'm gonna let them go ahead and cut it again. And I said, you know, that's a great idea. And I appreciated the fact that she wasn't going to call them the day before they were supposed to come and say, hey, look, we don't need your service anymore. She said, I'm going to let them cut it tomorrow and pay them, and then I'll let them know that I don't need their service anymore. And I said, okay. I said, I appreciate that. And I told her this. I said, you know what? I said, have a talk with the person, the boss, the owner, and explain to him what your issue is. And, man, somebody done lost a bale of hay, dude. I don't want to stop and pick it up because it ain't mine. Maybe they'll come back and get it. That's like $8. I got 3 of them in the back. That's crazy. But I said, you know, explain to them what they're doing you're not happy with, and if they'll make it right, just let them keep cutting it if you want to. And she said, no, sir. She said, I've tried and tried, and I've given them multiple opportunities, and I'm just ready for a change. And I said, okay. And so they went ahead and did it. I called her last week to verify, hey, we got you on the schedule. You still want us to do it? Because I rode by and looked at the property, and the guys had taken care of everything that she told me what she was dissatisfied with, and they had taken care of all of that. And I thought, well, maybe she's going to let them keep doing it because they did a good job, you know. And but no, she said, yes, sir, we're still looking forward to you coming. So we went, we cut. She sent me a text message. She said, we are extremely, you know, satisfied with the job that y'all done. Happy customer, happy owner, you know. So anyway, I'm not going to tell anybody how to price their stuff, you know. I would just be, if you want to be a and look, I know every customer is not a long-term customer. It don't matter how good you are to some people. It don't matter, you know, how much you go above and beyond and do a good quality job. They're going to drop you they're going to let you go for $5 or $10. I understand that. That's not the kind of customer you're looking for. But I think, you know, in business, what you want to do, especially with repeat business, you know, you go into this property every week, every 2 weeks, once a month in the winter, whatever the case is. You want to build a relationship with that customer, and, you know, a good relationship. And I think it's hard to build a good relationship with somebody if, you know, you overcharge them just because you can. That's just my opinion, you know, and I know some people will see that differently, and that's okay. But as for me, I'm going to be cautious when it comes to that. One-time property cleanups, yes. Drop the hammer, man. If you're going out there cutting knee-high stuff, it's a one-time deal. If you do that kind of work, man, set your price wherever you want it, because that's a one-time deal. And I tell all the people that I do for one time that I'll give you a one-time price, and then I'll give you a price to maintain it. And that price to maintain it is going to be a very fair price, a very competitive price. But that first-time price, because you want me to come out here and expose my equipment to these kind of conditions, it's going to be expensive, you know. I went and did a 3-acre property the other day and charged them $600 and something, you know, for just a one-time cut. And the property really, it had a good bit of trimming to do, but it wasn't necessarily out of control. There was not a lot of thick grass to cut and all of that, but it had a, you know, had a lot of rocks around, had just some potential hazards. And you know, that'd be a property that I normally do for about $200, you know, but I charged them 3 times. And I told this person the same thing. I said, look, that's my price. It's a one-time, you know, a first-time cleanup kind of deal. Here's my price to maintain it, you know. But, you know, if you want us to do it, then this is what it's going, you know, this is what it's going to cost you. And shop around, you know. If you find a better deal, good for you. So anyway, I rambled on long enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and get off of this thing, man. I do appreciate y'all taking time to watch the video, especially if you stayed here this long. If you haven't already, man, subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button, drop me a comment, tell me what your thoughts are. Are you gonna stay middle of the road, or are you just gonna go over the top on pricing and get while the getting's good, so to speak? So anyway, hey, appreciate you watching. My prayer for you is always the same, that the Lord might richly bless you, and that you might see all of your blessings as from Him. Hope you have a great day.